Germany, medical malpractice awards are capped by law. But in this country, medical malpractice lawsuits are a major cause of the skyrocketing cost of medical care, and part of that, of course, is so-called defensive medicine. But as Congress has considered the health care overhaul, there has been almost no debate on medical malpractice. Kitty Pilgrim reports.
A 1,000-page health care bill, but still no limit on how much a doctor could be sued for medical malpractice under the government plan. President Obama has talked about the high cost of medical lawsuits, saying a doctor should not have to look over his shoulder while practicing medicine, but has stopped short of calling for limits on medical malpractice awards. The AMA estimates that defensive medicine, when doctors perform unnecessary tests to protect themselves from potential lawsuits, costs up to an extra $151 billion a year. The Congressional Budget Office found caps on medical malpractice suits could save $4.3 billion from 2010 to 2019. But some consumer groups don't want lawsuits capped. Joanne Doroshow of consumer advocacy group Center for Justice and Democracy.
Both claims and premiums in the medical malpractice area are each less than 1% of overall health care costs, and in fact, they've been less than 1% for over 30 years.
Critics of the current system have
American Morning, the most news in the morning, period. Weekdays 6 Eastern.
High rate of obesity in this country plays a big role in the rising cost of health care. But now there's startling new information about race and weight. One ethnic group has by far the most alarming obesity numbers. We're paging Dr. Gupta to find out who and why. So who and why?
Well, it's African Americans, and it's staggeringly higher than whites and Hispanics. And what's interesting, Carol, when I first started working at this network, we talked about the rates of people being overweight all the time. And now we talk about obesity almost in the way that we used to talk about overweight. It's gotten that much worse over the past several years, for sure. But there are some concerning numbers specifically about African Americans and the rates of obesity. What they really try to do is break down obesity rates by race and also by state. And you can take a look at the numbers there. I mean, it's pretty staggering. 36% of blacks, more than 1 in 3, are obese.
Wow.
29% of Hispanics, 24% of whites, 40% of black women overall, Carol, as well. This is what has gained a lot of attention.
AIDS and Black America. A report just out says the epidemic is as bad in parts of the U.S. as it is in Africa. The Black AIDS Institute wants the government to do more to fight it. CNN medical correspondent Elizabeth Cohen is here now with more. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi. We've talked a lot on your show about how AIDS affects African Americans disproportionately, affects them more than affects other people in this country. This statistic really says a lot. 1 out of 8 Americans is African American. However, half of all people living with HIV in this country are African American. So you can see how disproportionate that is. So this group that's put together this report about African American and AIDS, they say if you thought of Black America as a country, the rates of HIV are higher in Black America than in these countries that you see listed here, these countries that are in Africa. And so there is a lot of concern that the infection rates in the African American community are very high and that efforts to fight the disease in this country aren't what they should be.
Why is HIV and AIDS so bad in the African American community specifically?
Right. There's several reasons for that. One is that African Americans just don't have as much access to health care as other people in this country. So that in the same way that African Americans have higher rates of other diseases, they also have higher
Right now on Wake Up, he had sex with more than a dozen women in the Jamestown area, knowing he was HIV positive. And today, Nashawn Williams could be a free man. News 4's Jerika Duncan joins us live in the studio with the story. Good morning, Jerika.
Good morning, Joe. The last time we saw Williams, he was in handcuffs and serving time at the Clinton Correctional Facility. Well, today, all of that could change.
I think I owe him an apology as far as having sex without being a condom on. I mean, not having safe sex, stuff like that.
10 years ago, Nushan Williams apologized for having unprotected sex with several women in the Jamestown area after he had tested positive for HIV, the deadly virus that causes AIDS. Williams claimed not to remember being told by the state health department in 1996 that he was
Tonight,
HIV
only
positive.
on Fox, a warning from a woman infected with the HIV virus. She says her husband, Gregory Martinez, gave her the disease, and he was recently sentenced in Spartanburg for knowingly exposing others to HIV. It all came to light after his wife learned she had contracted the virus after a prenatal visit. Fox Carolina's Jade Heinman now with more. The two are inseparable. The website they set up for their wedding.
The woman is determined to rescue as many as she can and find them homes.
This is blowing her mind. It is a long way from Ho Chi Minh City.
For children once considered unadoptable.
This cute little girl is named Blaine. She's about 2.5 years old.
I didn't even know if we could adopt her. I didn't know anything about her, but I just knew she was ours.
There is a race against the clock.
The other challenge is to move fast. Got to move fast in this world. You cannot wait. You wait and people die. Kids die.
But there is hope in the families who are reaching out to them.
I got tired of saying, geez, that's really bad. Those poor kids. You know, I started to feel like I needed to be involved in it in some way.
In a world,
I'd like to comment that the sponsors of these bills didn't really reinvent the wheel when they drafted this legislation. This legislation has been enacted in many other states across the United States. It's working very well. All we have to do is look at states like California that have done nothing about illegal immigration in their state. They've had over 100 hospitals closed due to unreimbursed medical costs, due to treatment of illegal aliens. We have 51 hospitals in trouble, according to the Florida Hospital Association in this state.
He is off tonight. Police say a Louisville woman induced a girl to smoke pot, then sodomized her.
Now they're trying to determine if the abuse was more widespread. 27-year-old Tiffany Taylor's who we're talking about. She faces multiple counts of sodomy plus other felonies. Ben Jackie is live at Metro Police Crimes Against Children's Unit headquarters with what he's learned. Ben?
Well, Rick, Tiffany L. Taylor faces charges involving one victim for right now. That one victim is a girl that she babysat over a number of years. But this case may have never come to light were it not for one young boy speaking up while riding in a car with his mother.
I'm shaking. And I'm thinking all in my mind this ain't true.
It was the car ride that almost led to an
eight-month-old son
accident.
with her to a party. He ends up sick on crack cocaine. Prime News correspondent Virginia Cha rejoins us. All right, where does it go from there, Virginia?
I know, it's kind of hard to believe that anything good would come from this, but apparently the mom is trying to turn her life around. Today's look at the headlines making news cross country starts in Buffalo, New York. Now, authorities say Marsha Dixon's baby accidentally ate the drugs during a party at a friend's home. Yesterday, Dixon was in court facing possible jail time, but the